So, welcome to our Sunday Bhagavatam class. Um, and okay, we'll begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, just one moment. I'll be right there. Okay. So, we're going to begin the Bhagavatam today with verse 1:13-22. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So 1:13-22 is Andak Puraiva Vadiro Manda Pragyascha Sampratam Vishirna Danto Mandagni Saraga Kapam Udvahan. This is a very graphic medical diagnosis which Vidura is giving to his older brother. He said, Andhak Puraiva, from the very beginning you were blind. From the very beginning you were blind. And why is he mentioning this? Because he's saying that, okay, you were blind, everyone treated you really well, almost too well. And, but you're not going to enjoy this world. And then Vadiro, now you're hard of hearing. Manda Pragyascha, and memory is shortened. This is not, Manda Pragya doesn't mean necessarily dementia, but it does mean that it's like your brain is slowed down. You're getting a little slow in terms of your thinking. So not necessarily dementia yet, but he's not sharp-witted. He's becoming a little Manda Pragya, a little slow-witted. You're not sharp like you used to be. Sampratam. Recently, Prabhupada says, Bishirna Danto. Your teeth are loosened. So it's kind of awful. Mandagni, and your Agni, your fire is slowed down. Use the word twice. Manda. Manda means dull or slowed. And so Prabhupada translates this, liver action decreased. You can't digest like before. Literally your fire is slow now. Saraga kapamudvahan, and you're coughing up mucus. Mucus is coming up. Saraga, with sound. It's literally raga. Raga, of course, is a musical term, but saraga, so with you, like you're coughing up mucus. So this is like a pretty graphic description. And Vidura is saying that you cannot seriously think you're going to enjoy life here in this situation you're in now. And then it gets even heavier, actually. The next verse 23, Vidura says, Aho, mahiyasi jantor. Prabhupada translates aho as alas. It's like an exclamation. Aho, mahiyasi jantor jivitasha. How very great is the hope or the desire for life to live in this world of a creature. So jantor, not the most flattering word. It can mean of a living being or just of a creature. In other words, Vidura is saying that, hey, let's go for a second let's go for a second to the Sanskrit dictionary and see what this word jantu means, which Prabhupada sometimes translated as animal. It can simply mean a creature. It's the first, a creature, a living being, a man, a person, and any animal of the lowest organization. It can mean worms or insects. So he's not directly saying you're an animal, but he is telling Dhritarashtra, you're just some creature, a soul and a body, and your desire to live is so strong that, so, in other words, he's saying, he doesn't use the word, but he's saying you're really in a shameless situation. And then he really throws the knockout punch here. He says, Bhimapavarjitam pindam adate, and you take, in the sense of eat, pindam, the remnants, which are apavarjitam, which are just sort of thrown away by Bhima. So Bhima killed all the sons of Dhritarashtra. Bhima killed all his son. And so if you think about like that classic scene where a man is sitting, or a woman, at a at a table eating, and there's a dog there that's sort of whimpering, wants something to eat. So the man or the woman's kind of throws some food under the table for the dog. That's actually that's the image that Vidura's. He says Grihapalava, like a Grihapala means literally the home protector, but it means a household dog. He said you're like a just like a pet dog, just like the guard dog really would be more, the home protector literally. You live off of, you take the remnants, which kind of Bhima just throws under the table. So this is a very humiliating and shocking picture. So Vidura he's taken off the gloves here, so to speak. Vidura tried to encourage his older brother, but now he's just really telling it like it is. No diplomacy, just really using shock therapy here on Dhritarashtra. And then the next verse, Agnir, and now he just keeps going. Agnir Nisrista, literally fire was released. And so he's saying that you tried to burn them alive. I mean, this is pretty horrible. Datas Chagaro, and poison was given. So you try to, through your son, fire was set, poison was given. Daras Jadusita, their wife was polluted or insulted. Draupadi and her Kshetram, their land was stolen. Dhanang, their land and wealth was stolen. And what is the value of life, which is simply given to you by these very people that you tried to burn alive, that you poisoned, that through your son, that your son whom you tolerated and just looked the other way. Poison was given. Their wives were offended and insulted and polluted, and their land was stolen, their wealth was stolen. And these people who you abused or allowed to be abused in so many ways, now you're trying to enjoy a life which is given to you by them. And of course, within a Kshatriya community, these arguments are overwhelming. These are overwhelming arguments within the context of Kshatriyas, who are supposed to live by honor. And of course, Dhritarashtra, he's blind physically, and he's old. And so that's why Oho Jivita Shah, just the desire just to keep your life going is so strong. And So Vidura is just waking up Dhritarashtra and it's really shocking him into understanding what's really going on. And then he says in verse 25, Tasyapi tavadeho yang kripanasya jijivi sho paraiti nichato jirno jaraya vasasiva. So, so in spite of this body, he says, this body of yours, kripanasya jijivi sho. Actually, he says this body of yours, and he calls them here a kripana, or miserly. In other words, you're not seeing the big picture. You're not trying to understand what's ultimately for the best. You just have this really small-minded. Kripana, also you could translate something like small-minded, and you just want to continue your life. Jijivisho. But the body, paraiti, it will go away. Literally, it is, your body is going to go away. Prabhupada says will dwindle. Anichato, even though you don't want this to happen, jirno, it's old, deteriorated. Jaraya, so it's deteriorated by old age. Vasa siva, like clothes. Here, Vidura gives the same example that Lord Krishna gives in the Gita, like old clothes. You have to cast them off. And so Prabhupada translates this verse, despite your unwillingness, anichato means unwillingness to die, and your desire to live, even at the cost of honor and prestige, your miserly body will certainly dwindle and deteriorate like an old garment. So it's not going to get better, it's going to get worse. It's already bad, and it's going to get worse very soon. So there's absolutely no material future here for Dhritarashtra. So then finally, Gata Sartam Imang Deham Virakto Mukta Vandanaham Avigyata Katir Jayat Savaidira Udaharta. So Vidura says, indeed, a Dira is Udaharta, declared to be someone who can give up this body, imang deham, this is the first line, which is gata swartam. Artha means purpose, value, and swa means its own value, its own purpose, gata, which is gone. So this body, because the purpose of the body is to live a life and, to enjoy life, to experience the world. But here, Vidura says to Dhritarashtra, your body is gata sartam. Its purpose, which is to allow you to experience this world, enjoy this world, that purpose is gone. Your body, the purpose of this body of yours is gone. And so what you need to do is virakta, detached, somehow detach yourself, mukta vandanaha, free of bondage, or Prabhupada says free of obligations. Bandhana, bondage, or being tied to things. So free of obligations and detached. Avigyata gatir, with your movements unknown, or your destination unknown. Gati from the verb gang, to go. So your goings unknown. In other words, don't, of course, nowadays, we text everyone and there's Zoom and Skype and everything, but in those days, you left, you went, and that was it. Nobody knew where you were because Dhritarashtra is not going to send back messengers with a sort of day-to-day report. This is where I am now. So abhigyata gatir. So with your goings unknown or your destination unknown, jayat, one should give up this body. One should give up this body whose purpose is now gone. I mean, the body's purpose is gone. It's not there anymore. And virakta, detached, free of bondage and to other people, attachment. So a person who does this, savaidira, that indeed is a dira. a wise person or a detached person. Prabhupada used to say sober person. That person indeed is declared to be a dhira, a wise, sober person. So, and then Vidura goes on. He's saying what he's described in the last verse that a dhira, what a dhira is. Now he's going to say what a narottam is, which means best of men. Yak sakat paratoveha jata nirveda atmavan. So one who jat in whom detachment has arisen. One in whom has arisen detachment, swakat paratova, either from because of one's own understanding, one's own determination, or from others. This can also mean, anyway, that's enough for now. So jat swakat paratoveha jata nirveda atmavan, self-possessed, like bhagavan means one who possesses bhaga. So atmavan, which is also I think found in the Gita, means one who possesses oneself, self-possessed. It means that you really have embraced your true identity. You've embraced your true identity, and therefore you're not like a person with amnesia. You're not like a person who has forgotten themselves, which even in English, if someone's really behaving badly, someone may say, you're forgetting yourself. So it's a question of remembering who we really are and being in possession of our real nature. For example, I'm eternal, but if I ignore my true self, then I'm not really in possession of myself. It's just like if I have money in the bank, but I forget about it, then I don't really have it because I don't know it's there. I've forgotten it's there. I'm not using it. So to remember who we really are, to really live our life authentically, according to our true identity, that's Atmavan. So Jaksvakan Parato Veha Jata Nirveda, so one in whom detachment has arisen, either from one within oneself or with the help of others, and has become detached, and who is Atmavan, self-possessed, Harikrita Haring, and placing Hari in the heart. I mean, Hari, as we know, Krishna is already in the heart. So what does this mean? I think obviously it means to really in your mind, because Krishna is in my heart, but I can be unconscious of that fact. I'm not thinking of Krishna, and so I haven't really consciously focused on Hari in the heart. So placing Hari in the heart, he's already there, but it means bringing that into my conscious mind, remembering that fact. And so in this state, gehat, from the home. Geha means griha, another word for home. So from home, prabrajate, one should set forth. One should set forth, actually, paribrajate, like paribrajacharya or vana prasta. So that's the idea. Pra means like going forth. So prabrajate, one should go forth from home. In other words, leave home. So a person who does that is narottamaha, is the best of men, or the best of human beings. Actually, Prabhupada translates it, best of human beings. So now Vidura gives even more specific instruction. He says, Ato di ching disham yatu. One should go then to the northern direction. Di ching disham, the northern direction. Of course, in India, this is very much about Indian geography, because if you go north in India, you come to the Great Mountains or the foothills, and that's where people go to perform austerity, to get away from it all. We don't find big cities. We don't find a lot of sense gratification up in the mountains, because there's no agriculture. So there's not all kinds of food there. Uh, they didn't have big delivery trucks back then with groceries and supermarkets in the mountains. So when you go north, you're not going to have a very opulent diet because they don't do agriculture up there, and it gets cold. It freezes. It gets very cold at night. The winter's severe. You're going to be pretty much by yourself, maybe with some other sages. There's not a lot of people up there. And in general, it's a place of austerity, sort of giving up the world. So he says, now, he said, one must go to the northern direction. Or you must go, if it can be you. Actually, it is you, because he uses in the second line the word bhavan, which is the polite form of you, and which takes a third person verb. So yatu means you. You, and it's actually a direct command. It's go. You go now to the northern direction. Swaya Gyata Gatir. And with your with your direction, your movements unknown to your family, people who are close to you. Swire means by your own people, meaning family and intimate friends. Your direction, your movements unknown by them. Itorvak Prayashakalak, because after this, actually very soon, Arvak is the word. It's an interesting word here. So I'll translate. I'll tell you why it's sort of a key word here. So Arvak means from here on, like from Itaha, from this point going forward, something like that. From this point on, Prayashak, for the most part, Kala, the time, or the age that's coming, the time that's coming, will be Pungsanguna Vikarshana, literally will diminish the good qualities of people. Vikarshana. Vikarshana means, the dictionary, removing, destroying. So from here on, from this time forward, there will be a time that will destroy the good qualities of people. So he's saying, first of all, physically, you're gone. I mean, your body is really deteriorating. There's no question of you enjoying life. You're socially, you're completely humiliating yourself. You're just begging food. You're like taking the scraps, like a man throws table scraps to a dog. So Bhima, who killed all your sons, is just throwing some food at you. You have no shame. You have no dignity here. Your body's only going to get worse. The time is going to get worse. The age is going to get worse. Kali Yuga is coming. So he's really telling him, you have absolutely no good reason to stay here. You need to renounce now. And so that's it. Those are Vidura's instructions. And then it said, Evam Raja Vidurena Nujena Pragya Chakshur Bodhita Ajamida. So thus Ajamida, Dhritarashtra, who Ajamida refers to the royal line that he comes in. Bodhita was awakened. He was awakened by his younger brother Vidura. Thus the king, Ajamida, King Dhritarashtra, was awakened by his younger brother. Awakened, or he was enlightened by his younger brother, and he became Pragya Chakshur. He now had the eye of wisdom. So this is, throughout the Mahabharata, this is said that Vidura, even though he didn't have physical vision, but now he had the eye of wisdom. So he could see now, in the sense that he had wisdom. So chitwa sweshu sneha pashan jadimno. So cutting the very heavy ropes or tight ropes of affection for his own people. Chitwa seishu sneha pasha jadimno. Jadimno means like really hard, these hard, tough, these ropes that are very hard to cut, very hard to break. But and the rope here is that the ropes of affection for one's own people. So cutting that doesn't mean you don't care about people. It just means that your affection for them, your concern for them is not based on a bodily attachment, but rather on, you can care about people, seeing them as souls, but not because of bodily attachment. So Chitta Sweshu Sneha Pashan Jatimno Nishchakrama, he stepped out. Literally, he went out, he left. Bhratar Sandarshi Tadva, when his brother had shown him clearly the path. That's what it means. Bhratar Sandarshi Tadva. The path had been clearly shown to him by his brother, and he left. Nishchakrama literally stepped out. He went away. So we'll stop there at 1:13:29. And then starting at 1:13:30, hopefully next Sunday, we will learn about how his family reacted. He didn't make a big announcement. They didn't have a farewell party, a going away party. He just left. Probably in the middle of the night, because otherwise everyone sees you leaving. And of course, he had people with him to guide him. But so we've Vidura, we heard about Vidura's feelings, and then telling Dhritarashtra, this is your real situation. He convinces Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra leaves. Now, how does everybody react? All of his family, when they hear that this elderly person in this medically, physically compromised state has gone away. So that'll be next time. So let me see if there are any questions here. Comments. Any questions? I mean, so Jagatpalana, what has Dhritarashtra done to deserve being enlightened by Vidura? That's an interesting question. Well, he wasn't all bad. I mean, there were times when he actually acted properly. And if his son had not been an asura, his son was actually an asura, he might have done better. He didn't initiate all the evil. He just tended to allow it. So, and he did have real respect for Krishna. And sometimes even chastised his son, obviously ineffectively and inconsistently, but he was not, in that sense, an evil person. He actually had some, I don't know if I could say devotion to Krishna, but certainly great respect for Krishna. And if he would have had a good son, he probably would have done the right thing. Okay, how does one survive? This is Stella's question. They didn't try to put a lot of question marks so I can notice it. How does one survive then in this day and age? Can't surrender in the temple. It's too abusive. Well, not all temples are abusive. Let's be a little objective here. Can't work in a job, it's too abusive. Well, not all jobs are abusive. Can't live on the streets, it's too abusive. well, find a, yeah, I mean, there are some good things in this world. You just have to find them. So, what was this instruction specific? Was this instruction specific to Dhritarashtra? To leave home and go to die without telling anyone, it seems cruel. Is it for a specific state or period of our lives? I don't know if it was cruel. I mean, if he would have told them, they probably would have blocked the gates or something, and just, no, you can't leave, you can't leave. It's just, he just had to go. In this age, no. I mean, we can't imitate this. This is Dwapara Yuga, and these are powerful souls involved in Krishna Lila. I think we can take the spirit of this, that we should not be too entangled in family affairs when, as our age advances, and we have to focus on Krishna consciousness. So I think we can take the spirit of it, not necessarily go off into the wilderness. How does a person know that when or how does a person know that the purpose of their body is fulfilled? Well, in this age, we have so much technology that we can still, in many cases, be very useful, even when the body is. I mean, Prabhupada, even when he was, his body was very weak and near its end, he was preaching. So, and people were recording what he said, and so on the microphone. So, we should, it's a good question. Dhritarashtra was not really spreading Krishna consciousness out of the palace. And so if we, in a sense, if we can serve Prabhupada's mission, do useful things for Prabhupada's mission, then in a sense we have renounced material life. So in this day and age, we don't simply go to the forest, but we dedicate ourselves to preaching. I think that's the equivalent in this age. When you get to a certain age, just try to do everything possible to spread Krishna consciousness. So, Nanda Lila, leave for the north immediately. This is Bhagavatam 1:13-20. It seems that many instructions in Shastras and by acharyas are for a time, place, and circumstance sort of situation. How can devotees now and in the future interpret these correctly without risking becoming inflexible, fanatical, but also without deviating from the essence? Well, if you live in the southern hemisphere, you would not go north, because then you just, get nice and tropical and you could just lay around and swim all day. So obviously in the southern hemisphere, it would be go south. But the real point, Prabhupada said, like vana prastha, going to the forest, because in those days people would leave the comfort of villages. And villages back then, even, they were agricultural villages, dairy villages. And so you get the best food actually in the villages. So going north meant going to the mountains, living in more, the essence of it is living a more austere life, not indulging so much in bodily gratification, or simply relishing feelings and affections based on bodily attachment. That's really the essence of it. So if one at a certain stage in life dedicates oneself to spreading this movement, that's really what it means. That's because in those days it was Dwapara Yuga. So when you went away, that was the example you said. That's how you taught others, by giving up material life. But in this age, people don't understand what that means. If people hear, oh, someone so-and-so went to the mountains, they'll just think, oh, he's a nature lover or whatever the thing. So in this day and age, we directly try to preach, we directly try to help people understand spiritual life. And so giving up, when one has not given up and one has fulfilled one's family responsibilities, the children are grown, then at that point one should focus on spreading this movement. Let's see. Okay, some other stuff just came in and my screen just jumped. So, when, how does a person know that the purpose of their body is fulfilled? Well, when you've done your duties, especially family duties. Oh, I almost skipped that one. Okay. Let's see. Leelakar, there's emphasis the body will dwindle and die, even though one may not see death taking place at the present moment. Well, actually, people die every day. Just read the obituary. Does birth and death take place constantly in one's own life, in a metaphorical sense? I don't think we need to be too metaphorical. I think it's just basic mortality. So, Krishna Shakti, when, how does someone know that the purpose of their body is fulfilled? Uh, when you've done your duties, especially for households. I think I already think I might have mentioned that already. Yeah, I mean, especially if you have family and you fulfilled your duties, then you've done your duties. And you've done the best you can, and then you have to focus on Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada's own example is even when he was the Acharya, founder Acharya of ISKCON, he tried to encourage his sons in Krishna consciousness. He was giving a little money, money every month for his ex-wife, and so I mean, in this age, we just have to be moderate. That's just the way it is. Okay, so thank you all. I think I did all the questions, and thank you all for listening. And hopefully, I read Krishna Shakti's question 3 times. I was just informed. Well, good question. So thank you very much. Hope you're all well, and hope we'll be back together again next Sunday. Hare Krishna. Oh, another question just came in. My God, questions keep coming. Leave for the north immediately. It seems that many instructions in Shastra and Acharyas are for a time, place, and circumstance. Oh, I think I already did that. How can we interpret these properly in the present age? Well, common sense, and talk to people. If one doesn't have common sense, try to talk to someone that does. Okay. Anyway, sorry to keep you. Okay, so we'll end here. Hare Krishna.